What's up, everyone, and welcome to Clear Talk. So it is Monday, and first off, it is cold. I'm in Mississippi. I don't know why I had such a hard time getting that out. I'm in Mississippi, and it's like 42 degrees right now where I live. That is cold for Mississippi. Last night was like 29. So I have been inside all day. I've been trying, and I was questioning whether I was even going to talk about anything or what I would talk about today. Or whether I would just wait till tomorrow. But I feel like this is very pressing to talk about. So here we're going to talk about the updates now. I know I've been sticking on this pretty hard, but the updates about SNAP benefits. We're going to go over that, and then I'm going to talk about the other, which has had some stuff happen over the weekend, and then I'm going to talk about the other stuff that happened over the weekend, and that was basically, the Democrats basically just folding on the shutdown, but that's going to be in a separate video. So, thank you very much for joining me here. If you haven't been here if you're new, welcome to Clear Talk. If you'd like to check out videos from the rest of the channel, please do so. Consider subscribing, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. If you would like to check out videos from other channels, that would be amazing as well. Consider subscribing to those. Any help you do give, help get more videos in front of people and stuff like that. So, and if you'd like to help out in any way, I cut myself earlier. See that? It's kind of nasty. If you would like to help in any kind of way, Patreon, $3 a month there, to help out growing the channels, growing the JMD Nation, help out growing Patreon, to help help me to help you benefit more from it. That'd be great. Or if you just want to do a one-time donation, that'd be amazing as well. Anyway, you want to support JMD Nation or become part of JMD Nation, it's very much appreciated, and I thank you very much. And if you're returning, you're freaking amazing. You know that, and I'll tell you that over and over again, how amazing you are. Thank you. Welcome back. Keep coming back, because you are what makes JMD Nation. So, and I'm a little bit under the weather too, so I apologize if my voice gets a little raggedy or something. This changing of weather really messes with me. Okay, so Trump administration. All right, what happened? I started to read the headline there. Basically, we previously talked about how SNAP benefits. We had two justices, lower court federal justices, who was basically trying to force the Trump administration to pay for SNAP. With the contingency funds that are readily available. The purpose for those funds is to help in situations like the shutdown, to be able to pay for certain things that need to be paid for, regardless of the fact that there's a shutdown. And that's one of the things that has widely been accepted in previous shutdowns to be paid for is SNAP. Not wanting American people to go hungry. That's like, a big thing. But the administration was trying to push back. They had at one point stated that they would partially fund 50%, and then it was 65%. These federal lower court judges had given them a pathway. Had told them other avenues that they could use to make sure that it was paid in full for the month of November, while the shutdown was continuing on. But the administration basically just pushed that aside, no, we're not going to use those avenues, but we will use the contingency funds, or at least partial the contingency funds, to partially fund blah, 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 blah. And then the courts, I think it was Thursday last week, one of them, McConnell, came back saying, you know what, I want a plan by the next day on how you're going to fund it fully. He was basically requiring them to fund it fully. which the Trump administration immediately appealed on, and claiming that that there was no way to fund them fully, that they did not have the funds for that. And there was a Supreme Court justice who temporarily blocked the ruling until the Supreme Court of Justice Appeals, whatever, could rule on it. So now we have a ruling. Okay, that's basically where I'm getting. We have a ruling here in Reuters. We have Trump administration cannot withhold $4 billion for food aid. U.S. Appeals Court rules. A federal appeals court late on Sunday allowed a judge's order to stand that directs U.S. President Donald Trump's administration to fully fund this month's food aid benefits for 42 million low-income Americans during the ongoing U.S. government shutdown. The Boston-based First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals declined to halt Thursday's decision by Rhode Island judge requiring the U.S. Department of Agriculture to spend $4 billion set aside for other purposes to ensure Americans fulfill full supplemental nutrition assistance program or SNAP benefits. So that come down from the U.S. Appeals Court that they were not going to block it. So that's, good news. Although I'm pretty sure that the Trump administration is now going to push it, possibly could push it to the full, to the full Supreme Court. But I don't know how willing they would be to try to take that up, though. That would be kind of crazy, I think. But unfortunately, this still is going to cause uncertainties, delays in, even if they do, adhere to it, it's going to cause delays, and for many states because of the trying to get the funds and set up whatever, and to pay based on their their systems and stuff. And a lot of states are still waiting on, it's like the state of Mississippi waiting on approval because they won't do anything without Trump's approval, administration's approval, the USDA's approval. And so they're still waiting on, approval from them for our own state to do any kind of benefits for people across the state. I have another article here real quick. This is from the LA Times. States face uncertainty as Trump administration tries to reverse SNAP food payments. States administrating a federal aid program serving about 42 million Americans face uncertainty Monday over whether they can or should provide full monthly benefits during an ongoing legal battle against the U.S. government's shutdown, involving the U.S. government shutdown. President Donald Trump's administration over the weekend demanded that states undo full benefits that were paid under the SNAP program during a one-day window between when a federal judge ordered full funding and a Supreme Court justice put a temporary pause on that order. So as you know, when the lower court, gave that ruling demanding for full payments be made, there were a few states that went ahead through and sent up those funding to their citizens, to their cards, and basically the administration is requesting for those states to take away those benefits. I shit you not. A federal appeals court in Boston left the full benefit order in place on Sunday, though the Supreme Court order ensures the government won't have to pay out for at least 48 hours. The Trump administration is also expected to ask the justice to step in again, and Congress is considering whether to fund SNAP as part of a proposal to end the government shutdown. Some states are warning a catastrophic operational disruption if the Trump administration does not reimburse them for those SNAP benefits they already authorized. Meanwhile, other states are providing partial monthly SNAP benefits with federal money or using their own funds to load electronic benefits for SNAP recipients. Trump administrations initially said SNAP benefits would not be available in November because the government shut down. Other states and nonprofit groups sued. 2 judges ruled. We know that. The administration said it would use emergency funds, 65% maximum monthly. On Thursday, McConnell said that was enough to fund it fully by Friday. Some states acted quickly to direct their EBT vendors to disburse all full monthly benefits to SNAP recipients. Millions of people in those states received funds to buy groceries before Ketanji Jackson put McConnell's order on hold Friday night. Millions more people still have not received SNAP benefits for November because their states are waiting for further guidance from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Trump's administration has argued that the judicial order to provide full benefits violates the Constitution by infringing on the spending power of the legislative and executive branches. On Sunday, the Trump administration said states had moved too quickly and erroneously released full SNAP benefits after last week's ruling. States must immediately undo any steps taken to issue full SNAP benefits on Thursday. But on November 2025, for November 25, Patrick Penn, Deputy Undersecretary of Agriculture, wrote to state SNAP directors. He warned that states would face penalties if they do not comply. Wisconsin, which was among the first to load full benefits after McConnell's orders, had its federal reimbursement frozen. As a result, the state SNAP account could be depleted as soon as Monday, leaving no money to reimburse stores that sell food to SNAP recipients, according to a court filing submitted by those that had sued. Some Democratic governors vowed to challenge any federal attempt to claw back money. In Connecticut, Lamont said those who received their benefits should not worry about losing them. No, Connecticut does not need to take back SNAP benefits already sent to 360,000 people who depend on them for food and who should have never been caught in the middle of this political fight. We have their backs. So there you go. You have a number of states who went ahead through and sent because, they are concerned and care about the people of their state being able to feed themselves. The Trump administration is trying desperately not to. They're continuously wanting to use this as pressure campaign, and as we'll talk in another video, that clearly is starting to work. But this is it's just crazy to me that people depend on this, and we've talked about this over and over and over again. It's relentless, and we must be relentless in talking about this because we're talking about people not being able to feed themselves. Okay. And this is a condition of our economic system. This is a condition of the system that has been created and has been manipulated and worsened conditions because of Washington and policies that they've implemented for decades now that Trump and his administration are only making worse. A system that creates a condition where we as Americans we work. We have created one of the best productionary like systems. We produce way more now than we did just 50 years ago. Yet our pay does not represent that. We've been now for over a decade, fighting for better pay. In an economy where things are becoming more and more exceedingly expensive, more expensive, rising costs across the board everywhere. But yet our pay has not gone up, making conditions where we have to work more and more and more, take on more and more jobs, just to feed families, just to feed ourselves, feed our families. And some of which still doesn't allow, because of certain areas or whatnot, still does not allow for us to be able to handle everything. And that's the reason why a SNAP program and other assistance programs like that exist, is to help those in the most need, those that are trying, but just the system just doesn't allow for success like that. It just doesn't. Yes, it allows for a small percentage of success, but the rest just fall by the wayside. And then on top of that, health conditions have diminished and has caused more people, lower health rates, more people on the programs because of that too, health conditions, or homelessness, or our veterans not being taken care of properly. And this all amounted to continued rise in the need for programs like this. And while no policy that has been really, implemented as of late, the past decade or so, is really even like significantly assisted or helped in that. Or tried to fix that. There is a growing sentiment within some sectors of the community, a very small sector, but nevertheless, who think that these benefits are unnecessary and that this is just people who are mooching off the government, mooching off their tax dollars, and that it needs to be eliminated. It needs to be erased. Basically just fuck these people. Make them go to work because they're just a bunch of lazy asses who aren't working, and I'm working and blah, blah, blah. And as we know, the Trump administration seems to lean in focal point, like on the absolute worst of his base, the most hateful, egregious, like part of his base. And while not putting up any kind of actual fix to this issue, their idea, and we saw this all the way back at Doge, is just to end shit, just stop it, just cut it off, and we'll figure out how to fix it later, or or not even caring to fix it, whatever the case. Like, just shut it off, just stop it, end it. Don't send the money out, don't spend on this, don't spend on that. We're just going to stop it. And we'll, eventually come back around and see whether or not there's a way to do it better if we need it, if we deem that we need it. And that's the kind of thing that Envision, the way they look at Snap. Like, we really just want to stop it. We want to cut it off. But they're not really introducing a way to solve that of the issue. If there is a problem in our society, there's a problem in our system that is creating this condition. And it could be worked on. It could be solved eventually to the point where there won't be a need for it. But like I've talked about in other issues where things are just being cut off and stopped or ended, you need to create an avenue where things are put into place that actually solves the problem at hand that created the condition to begin with, so that eventually you can sort of fade out these things that you don't like. And I agree that, in a society in a country as rich as this country is, these kinds of conditions shouldn't be. Not at the extent that they are, at least. But you can't just pull the rug out from underneath people and be like, figure it out until we figure it out. Or until we care enough. Like, that's just not the way to go about it. But that doesn't seem to be the pathway of this administration. They just break stuff. They're like a bull in a china shop. Just break stuff, and break stuff, and break stuff. Not trying to fix anything. And I think that's intentional. I do. I think that's intentional. So that they can get away with whatever they can get away with as quickly as they can before anybody really realizes what they've done. And then they just skip town, leaving the ruins for somebody to hopefully be able to fix. But that's your current situation. The appeals court has ruled that they must pay. So in the coming days, probably by tomorrow, maybe even before today's end, we'll have something that will come out, something that will be said by the administration or Trump himself. He'll truth the shit out of something. And then the administration will probably have to come back on that and be like, oh, that's not exactly what he meant. Sorry about that. And hopefully we'll get something in the direction of people getting benefits and it being like those who have not gotten it get them without any issues. And hopefully faster because of the full payments. Because the percentage payment thing was causing a lot of issues for the states to be able to try to implement that into the systems and make those changes temporarily to get partial payments to partial people and who could get what. And it's just much easier to just be like, everybody's getting their full benefits. Whatever they already approved for, they get. So that would make it faster. And hopefully the administration doesn't try any wonky, bullshit to evade actually going through with the ruling. But we'll see. Thank you very much for joining me. But all that might change because of the Democrats caving, which we're going to talk about next. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, peace. Clear Talk. I'm out.